But online Bible, if you have the user or the Bible app, if you open that and go to the lower right-hand corner, it says You. If you click on that, you can go to Events, and then you can search for Remnant Church. All the scripture, all the notes, all the pictures are right there where you can follow along. And if you take your own notes in there, make sure you save it, though, so that it keeps it. The resurrection from John chapter 20. Early on Sunday morning, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and found that the stone had been rolled away. She ran and found Simon Peter and the other disciple and said, "They have taken the Lord's body out of the tomb, and we don't know where they put him." Peter and the other disciple ran to the tomb. They found the linen wrappings lying there and the cloth that had covered Jesus' head folded up, separate from the others. Then they went back home. But Mary was still standing outside the tomb crying. And as she wept, she looked inside and saw two angels there. And they said, "Dear woman, why are you crying?" they asked. "Because they've taken away my Lord, and I don't know where they put them." And then she turned and saw someone standing there. It was Jesus. But she didn't recognize him. "Dear woman, why are you crying?" Jesus asked. "Who are you looking for?" Thinking that it was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you've taken him away, tell me where you've put him, and I will go get him." "Mary," Jesus said. She turned to him and cried out, "Rabbi." And Jesus said, "Go find my brothers and tell them." So Mary Magdalene found the disciples and told them, "I have seen the Lord." And I love that. I get goosebumps around that. I have seen the Lord. I love Easter. I love the chocolate of Easter and all the things that go with it. You should see if I could put my blood sugar thing on the TV so you can see how it's been these last 3 days because of all the chocolate around my house. And my friend gave me a pack, like a party-sized pack of double stuffed Oreos. And I just told someone I'm not even eating Oreos anymore. There they are because they're cold now. Oh, are they alive though? Have you tried them?
They're great.
Oh, I'll try them. But Oreos, when they're cold, when that frosting gets a little bit of a bite to it, that's really good. Golly. Anyway, so my blood sugars. Anyway, don't tell my wife. I'm just kidding. She's right here. Anyway, I love Easter. I love Easter because of the promise of the resurrection. And the cross is what makes the resurrection possible. The resurrection proves that the cross worked. There's plenty of people that follow or worship or want to be disciples of some dead guy somewhere. Somewhere there is. I don't know another faith that follows someone that came back to life, that is living today, and that promises the same thing to me. The resurrection proves the cross worked, and it starts what comes next. You know, I was thinking about Easter and how Easter is like this thing we celebrate, and people that don't normally come to church on Easter, and there's all this part, and we do this big thing, yay, Easter, right? And then what? Like, what comes next? What do we do with that? It is Monday. Thank you, Zach. What do we do with that? So for many of us, this amazing event takes place 2,000 years ago. And then 40 days after that, Jesus ascends into heaven. And the disciples stand gape mouth, staring into heaven. And so two angels show up and say, "What are you guys staring at? Go. Get started." And that's us. And we're just Monday. This is what it looks like Monday. What, until next Easter or Christmas? I guess. Yeah. Standing around, waiting for what's next. Jesus rose, went to heaven, and what? Now we're just going to wait our turn. We're just marking time until we die, and then he comes with it. I don't know what happens, right? Is that what we're just waiting for? But what if that's not the full story? What if Easter wasn't an exit plan? What if it was the launch of a restoration? What if Easter was the beginning of something? Because it's not an escape. We think that heaven is somewhere else and that earth is temporary and disposable. We're only here for a second, and then we're going to leave anyway. And that salvation is just getting the heck out of here. And so we do this thing about Easter and everything. So the story becomes, survive, behave, believe, and one day we get out. Don't raise your hand, but raise your hand if that's how you understand it. Someone was just telling me this morning that they have this friend that wants to go learn more about Jesus because then if they believe in Jesus, they get to go to heaven. That's not how it works. I mean, it is technically, that's exactly how it works. But that's not the formula. That's not the road plan. That's not the, it's not survive, behave, believe, and one day we get out. That's not how the Bible begins, and that's not how the Bible ends. It says this in Genesis 1 through 2, or in 1, it says this. Ready, go. And God saw that he had made, God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good, suitable, pleasant, and he approved it completely. It was very good, and he approved it completely. This is on day 6. However many years ago that was. Probably more than 6,000, but I'm not sure. Saw that it was good. He approved it completely. I tell you that because what God created is good. It was good enough for him. Like he would come, didn't he? Like in the Bible, like he'd be like walk around in the garden with Adam and Eve, like, right? They would pet the animals, like they would be carrying the platypus. And, I don't know what sound a platypus makes, April, but I feel like it probably purrs. In my mind, the platypus purrs. And like it was good enough for God to hang out in. Earth was good. Romans says this, for all creation, though, is waiting eagerly for that future day when God will reveal who his children really are. Against its will, all creation was subjected to God's curse that he put on creation when man was disobedient. So since that time, day 8 or whatever it was, right? Creation's been waiting for God to finish the work. Like the garden was just the start. But with eager hope, the creation looks forward to the day when it will join God's children in glorious freedom from death and decay. And then finally in Revelation, this is long, I'm sorry. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the old heaven and the old earth that disappeared, the sea was also gone. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven like a bride, beautifully dressed for her husband. I heard a loud shout from the throne saying, look, God's home is now among his people. He will live with them and they will be his people. God himself will be with him like in the Garden of Eden. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, no more sorrow, no more crying or pain. All these things are gone forever. It'll be like the garden. And the one sitting on the throne said, look, I'm making everything new. And then he said to me, write this down. For what I tell you is trustworthy and true. God has not abandoned creation. He didn't create the garden, put Adam and Eve there. They screwed it up, and I was like, well, they've ruined that whole thing. We're going to burn that sucker to the ground when it's over. Poof. He's not abandoning creation. He's redeeming it. He's restoring it. And Easter morning is the first sign that it's already happening. Easter wasn't the end of something. Easter was the beginning of something. Look how I'm going to recreate it. Let me start with Jesus. I'll recreate Jesus. Jesus is the prototype. Jesus didn't die and become a ghost. And Scooby-Doo was there. And it was, row. Old man guy. But I got to get away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids. That's funny to like 5 of you. I understand if most of you don't get it. But Jesus didn't become a ghost. He didn't disappear into abstraction. He was remade, and he ate food, and he had scars, and he walked, and he talked, and he existed physically. Jesus didn't come back less physical. He came back more whole. Because he was eating and talking and appearing and scarring and everything else, and he could like walk through walls or whatever. He was even better than before. The resurrection of Jesus shows us what life looks like when God finishes what he starts. That's what he did with Jesus. That's what he's going to do with creation. That's what he's doing with us. This is what we do with Easter. Jesus didn't rise for us. He rose ahead of us. He died for us, so we didn't have to. But when he rose, he didn't rose for us. He didn't rise for us. He rose ahead of us. He's not just the miracle, he's the model. It says this in 1 Corinthians. But now, as things really are, Christ has in fact been raised from the dead, and he became the first fruits. That is, the first to be resurrected with an incorruptible, immortal body, foreshadowing the resurrection of those who have fallen asleep. First fruits means it's a sample of what's coming next. Jesus is a sample of what we are becoming. So the resurrection isn't just about what happens to you someday. It's about what God is doing to everything right now. It might not seem like it. You could turn on the news and not feel like God's recreating anything. God's not restoring anything. You look at him like, oh my gosh. But then I'm thinking about like if I'm gonna redo at our house, at least for a long time, we used to watch like shows like where they would redo houses, and they would talk about how what was the day like when you take everything down? The demo day. Like, especially Chip Gaines. Chip Gaines on demo day was always a clown, right? Because he'd just like do all these stupid things with the sledgehammer. This isn't in my notes. I'm just making this up. But can you imagine if God's truly renovating the earth, if God's truly renovating creation, if God's truly renovating you and me, doesn't there need to be a demo day? Isn't there a time, a season, where God's like taking a sledgehammer to everything? I mean, if I watch the Chip Gaines part of that show, Fixer Upper, if I only watch the Chip Gaines parts, it's a demolition show. And then what's her name? Joanna comes, and she starts redoing it. Do you see it yet? Do you see it how maybe what's happening, what's been happening since Jesus left is demo day? And all these things that are falling apart need to fall apart before God can recreate the earth, that he's got to take down the parts that are broken in creation, in our systems, in our cultures, in our politics, but also in us. Is there demo day for us? Where he's got to take the old cabinets out? He's got to take that wallpaper down, Jeff, am I right? Jeff's working on the carriage house at Kohler. It's just the worst. I have him tell you the story because it's funny. I mean, not funny. It's funny for me. It's not funny for him. It's god-awful for him. But is it possible that God's taking my ugly wallpaper down? Is it possible he's taking that rotted corner out of the place in the corner is all rotten? He's got to rebuild that. Is that possible? Is this what started happening Easter morning? That he started demo day. And he said, here's the plan. Jesus is is Jesus. This is what we're going to end up with. Could that be possible? I don't even know where I'm on my notes right now, so you're going to have to let me catch up. It says this in Romans 8:28. At that time, the universe will not continue to become worse and worse as it does now. It will become free from that power. It will be free to enjoy great things from God, as God's children are also free. Isn't that what I just said, yo? Jesus is the first glimpse of a restored humanity and a restored creation. John 14. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would not have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. And where I am, you may also be. And most people hear this as Jesus. Jesus is building a mansion somewhere far, far away. Right? Don't raise your hand, but raise your hand if that's how you get it. In my Father's house, there are many mansions. Well, that doesn't make sense because the mansion's a house. There could be many mansions in a house. Doesn't make any sense. My math's already screwed up. But we imagine that someplace up over the hilltop, at a cloud far away, God's building, big giant mansions for us. And so we're just waiting for God to come back to us and take us home. And I don't know that that's what Easter represents. What if preparing a place isn't just about location? What if preparing a place is transformation? I'm transforming it. He's not just preparing a place for you, he's preparing you for that place. That's Easter. Because the future God is bringing requires people who are being made new. Are you operating in the resurrected Christ model? Is he your prototype? What am I doing with that? What am I doing with this opportunity today? Not waiting for something else to happen and not letting Jesus take me to a cloud city. What am I doing now to participate in my own restoration? Easter means the future has already broken into the present. That's what happened at Easter. The future has broken into the present. Heaven started that day. This means that anyone who belongs to Christ and has become a new person, the old life is gone and a new life has begun. The church is like Christ's body and he is its head. He is where it all begins. As God's special son, he was the first person who became alive again after death. And as a result, Christ is first and most important in all things. Jesus is not the exception. He's the preview. He's your preview. This is what you're working towards. Not just trying to keep your nose clean until he comes back so that when he judges you out of some big giant book somewhere, he either rings this bell or does that buzzer. You fall down. It was like, there was a game show like where someone, like it was like quiz show, people fell through the floor. I don't remember what that was. That's what don't raise your hand, but raise your hand. That's how you got it. You know, one at a time, we all show up before God. We stand, there, and like he either like rings a bell or he presses a buzzer and you just drop through the floor. It's not what's happening. Jesus is not the exception. He's the preview. You're not waiting for life to begin. You're already inside the process of restoration. So what does it actually look like? I'll close with this. What does progress or in progress actually look like? You're being restored, meaning your heart is softening, your reactions are changing, and your identity is shifting. If you're not growing, listen to me, if you're not growing as a person, if you're not becoming better as a person, no matter what your age, Mike Miller, if you're not getting better, you're failing. I say that only because Ron's not here. I think you might be the oldest guy in the room. Yes. If my heart's not softening, if my reactions aren't changing, if my identity's not shifting, what am I doing? I'm not being restored. I'm not being recreated. I've got cruise control on. I know men and women, I suppose, like that reach a certain age, they're like, I am what I am. That was Popeye. Also funny to 5 of you, not funny to other. I am what I am. Nuh-uh. That's not what the Bible says. I know. 2, relationships are being restored. Forgiveness, reconciliation, and presence. Are you working on these things in your relationships? Or are you just letting them ride? I'm not interested in forgiveness. I'm not interested in reconciliation. I'll move when they move. Don't raise your hand. Raise your hand. This is how you handle your relationship. I'll move when they move. I've done everything I can. I'm just going to wait until they do something. When they do something, then I'll do something. And I'm going to gauge it. It's up to me how much they've given, Oh, that's all you're going to give? Well, then I'll give that little bit too. You guys. Gross. So gross. We were talking the other day, I don't know if it was a men's group or grounded. We were talking about how I'm giving what I'm supposed to give no matter what. I'm not going to be accountable for the equitable, the equity. I'm not accountable for the equity, like with the people I'm involved with. My friends, my family. I don't only have to give what they give. I have to give everything. Whatever they give. It doesn't matter. That's not on my ledger. What they give. What I give is on my ledger. The big book that Jesus has or God has, that's what's in that book. Not that one time where I stole the whatchamacallit. Not that one time where I looked at a dirty magazine. That's not in there. At least I don't think so. I think what's in there is like how many times I gave only according to what someone had given me. I loved only according to what someone had loved me. Because I don't see dirty magazines in the field in the Bible. I see, did you love others so that everyone saw how you loved others? Did you love your enemy? Did you give even though you weren't given to? That's what's in the Bible. And so forgiveness and reconciliation and presence. And number 3, the world is being restored through us. Not by us. Not according to us. but through us. The world is being restored. Justice and compassion and mercy through us. My family will tell you that I've got this reputation at the McDonald's, and we talk about it here quite a bit, about how I'm just a complete JA to McDonald's. We talk about it, Diet Cokes, Diet Coke. Just Coke. I'm really trying to be better about it. So I was telling them this story about the other day. I went, it was after Good Friday. It was the day before yesterday. It was after Good Friday. And sometimes I feel like I really deserve a treat just so you understand Scott's psyche and why I'm diabetic and overweight. Because I feel like if I do something good or if I worked really hard, I deserve something sweet. And so I stopped for a Diet Coke and an ice cream at McDonald's. And the McDonald's ice cream machine was working, so that was a win. And then, so I pulled up because they didn't say, sorry, it's broken. They said, okay, pull forward. And so I pull forward. And she hands me the Diet Coke. She's like, I don't know, 16, 17, all the piercings. Not that that's important. Why would I even say that? I just want to give you, there's nothing wrong with it. I've pierced. I don't know why I said it. Anyway, just to help you get a visual. So she hands me the Diet Coke, and then you can see her shoulders slump. She turns around, the window closes. And then she goes back to the corner, right, and pulls out a cone. This is not going to be good, right? This is really sad about it, right? Really upset. She throws it into the sink, and then she disappears and goes talks to someone. I don't know, the ice cream manager. I don't know. And then comes back, and she's looking at the ice cream machine, and she comes over and starts talking to the French fry girl, and so I try to get the French fry girl's attention because she can't see me. And I'm like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. And then I drive away. Not mad, not, like, oh, I can't. I just, hoping that there's relief for her. Could you imagine that? The relief? Oh, he left? Oh, thank God. Can you imagine? Like if you can't make an ice cream and someone leaves so you don't have to make the ice cream, can you imagine what a relief that is? The world is being restored through us in justice, compassion, and mercy. That cost me $2.89 for the girl not to have to make an ice cream cone. Maybe she was like my friends. Maybe she was still mad. Oh, and then he left anyway? Maybe, I don't know. But I know that I wanted to be compassionate and merciful. Do you want to be compassionate and merciful? Like, do you want to help restore the world so that God can come back? Like, if he's waiting to restore the earth and he's put us there to make a difference in our world, are we making a difference? Is that what we're doing with Easter? Are we making a difference in our everyday, day-to-day, every day? Are you making it? Like, and listen, I don't know. I don't think it's like I need to start up a whole new, political party to go do this thing. And I don't think it's anything to do with that. My friend Blake's right there. He's just hiding behind them. Say hi to everybody, Blake. Bryce. Who's Blake? Christine, I'm so sorry. Who's Blake? Blake is Renee's husband. Renee's husband is Blake. Is he not? Renee and Blake Main, thank you. I had the first letter right, Bryce. Thank you. 2 times now. Bryce has been here 3 times. Of those times, 2 times, Bryce 3 times has seen me. Today, I was sitting out by the prayer wall praying before the message because I feel like it's something you should do before you step into the pulpit. And he just sat down next to me, put his arm around me, and just held me. And if you know me, brother, what do I need? It reminds me of the story Connor and I always tell about you. Like I tell everyone this story about how we dropped Ray off at school in lacrosse, and I tried to hold it together that whole day and a half or whatever it was, just trying to make sure that my baby girl's leaving, and I was really crushed. And then Connor and I and Abe got into my car. We were leaving, and so I was all strong for Ray until I left her, and then we got in the car, and the whole world falls apart for me. And then Connor, who's sitting in the back seat over here, slides over in his seat behind me and puts his arms around me, around the chair, and holds me. Brother, he doesn't need to ask me for my daughter's hand. You know what I mean? Like, he earned that place that day. And so I tell you that story, not so you think Connor's great, although he is. I tell you that story because, like, I love the fact that Bryce saw that I needed something. And twice now has sat down next to me and put his arm around me. And, like, this is how I'm rebuilding the world, you guys. Not by starting a whole political party or, making picket signs or, like, I'm doing it by loving and caring about somebody. One person at a time. If I'm one person and help two people, I've already doubled it. I've already doubled it. Every act of love, every act of forgiveness, every act of restoration is a preview of the heaven that's coming. Is a preview of the heaven that we just read about in Scripture. All those things that God says about, there's never get sick, you never grow old, you never die, all that stuff. That's what he's talking about. And that's I'm trying to do my part to get us there. Easter is not the end of the story. It's not even the middle. It's the beginning of God making everything right. So the question isn't, are you going to heaven someday? The question is, are you stepping into the restoration that has already begun? Not where is it? Not this. My nose is clean. I make it to church. I don't swear. What? No. What active part are we playing in the restoration? Not just of the world, but the new heaven and the new us. What part am I playing in that restoration? So when I think about Easter, it's not the end. It's the beginning. It's the start of it. And I want to be acting in that. I want to be acting in that. And so if you ever see me and interact and you feel like, Scott, I don't feel like you're really advancing the kingdom of God because I don't feel loved by you, tell me that. If you're like, Scott, I don't really feel like you're working with the kingdom of God because I don't like the worship you guys are doing, you can keep that to yourself. If you're like, Scott, I really don't think you should talk to people directly in the audience. Yep. Nope. You can just keep that to yourself. But if the one example that I can be to you, that I love no matter what, that I love no matter who, that I love no matter what the circumstances, then I'm doing my job. I can pridefully stand before God and answer his call. Did you pastor my people? Yes, Lord, I did. And so that's why I tell you these stories. Not, again, so you think I'm great, because I'm not. But you can be great. You can be loving. You can usher in justice and mercy and grace and forgiveness. You can. Tomorrow, Monday, you can. That's Easter. That's why Easter is like the start, the go. Go. So as always, we've got a handful of questions that we've prepared for you to discuss at our tables. If you're new here, know that this is a big part of how we do church, this conversation. If you've got to go, you can totally go. Don't feel bad about taking off. But we set up a timer for 15 minutes. We've got 4 questions set up, if you don't mind, Doug, that you can get started. Or you can use your own questions, but discuss what I just said. Please don't take my word for it. Talk it through yourself. So if you're at a table by yourself, and that's fine, do that. But if you want to join another table, please do that as well. I'll come back up in 15 minutes.